It's your guy who is never lying, sometimes defiant. TP Way the Giant.
Hey, baby, let's go out there like a bunch of crazy dogs, man.
Sometimes defiant, sometimes defiant, sometimes defiant.
Hey, Sean, you at home? I never get back in there. I will kick you.
Sometimes defiant, sometimes defiant.
It's your guy.
What you gotta say to the camera?
Yes, sir. TP Way the Giant.
You on this all you want to. We built for this shit. We don't fold, motherfuckers. We don't fucking fold.
Son, y'all gotta do better than this.
Sometimes defiant, sometimes defiant.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thank you for tuning in with your guy. If you haven't already, please make sure you do your due diligence, like, comment, and subscribe. As I've said plenty of times before, I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers. All right? Got a lot of work to do, clearly. I need your engagement. I need for you to subscribe, especially if you are a New York Giant fan. If you are a New York Giant fan, this is the place for you, man. No doubts about it. But y'all know why we here, man. Hard Knocks episode 4 is officially in the books. And just like I had in my head, I'm not even going to front, I was nervous at first. But just like I had in my head, I kept saying, wait until you see the full episode before you jump into conclusions. Just wait. I mean, I've already learned my lesson with that. They bait you with the clips at the end of these Hard Knocks episodes. They want to get you talking because, of course, their job is to bring the viewership. Wait until you see the full episode until you have a decent opinion, man. I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, man. I want to keep it just 1,000 with everything, with my emotions, with my feelings going into this episode. I'm gonna keep it real. But before we jump the gun, let's try to start in chronological order here. I'm gonna do my best in doing so. Again, another great episode, all in all. Another great episode. Let me just start with this. Y'all know I'm a Daniel Jones guy. And one of the things that I've been saying in previous shows is that I wanted to see Daniel Jones work on that knee. I wanted to see him run full speed. I wanted to see him cut. And I'm glad that it started off that way. They showed Daniel Jones getting after it. They show him doing a lot of work and running, stopping goals and drills with that knee. I know when that video came out, when he was throwing the rock, you know, it had people kind of talking a little bit. But my thing is, I wanted to see the true status of what that knee was looking like. So I'm glad that we was able to see that. And it also didn't waste any time. They started the episode clarifying. Listen, we communicated with Daniel Jones. We talked to him. And the reason on why it is important, there's just a couple of reasons, and we'll touch on that. But one of the main reasons on why it was important to even consider drafting a quarterback was not due to play. Everybody, of course, it was entertaining to say, hey, Daniel Jones, he sucks. That's why they wanted to go get Jaden Daniels. No. Any smart GM in the situation that we are in, you have to entertain getting a quarterback when he has the injury rate that he has. I mean, it only makes sense. So, you know, of course, that narrative is still going to be out there because, you know, it's more entertaining for people. People want to believe that Daniel Jones is just super garbage. And I will let y'all run with it. But I'm glad that it wasn't a total embarrassment. Coming into this episode, that was one of my big concerns. I'm like, yo, man, I know that we not doing what I think we doing. Because it kind of showed on the last episode that basically they lost all faith and they lost all confidence in Daniel Jones. It kind of like hinted at that fact, and that's kind of what people kind of took and ran with. Going into the reasoning on why it was important to go after a quarterback, that was not the conversation piece. That was not the conversation piece. Also, I want to skip, but I'm gonna come back. They mentioned the fact that, listen, we have no plans on being able to draft this early next season. No plans at all. So this may be the best opportunity to get a quarterback. Because next year, we are not going to have a top 5, top 10 pick. That is not our plan. So I love that. I love that. Everybody in the Giants organization should have goals and should have the mindset that they are not going to be in the same position that they were in this year. So I love it. Anyway, this was a whole bunch of just behind the scenes leading up to the decision on who were they going to get in the first round. I attended this draft in Detroit. Let me just say, man, I was boots on the ground. I had my family with me. I absolutely loved it. This was my first time being at an NFL draft. I absolutely loved the experience. Look, I just want to give a true shout out, man, to Lion fans, because I'm going to keep it real. They was out there representing. They was out there going hard. I think, reports have already been out that it was record-breaking numbers out there. I can contest to that because it was mad people out there. We were very close to the draft gate before you could actually get into the arena where the draft stage was at, and it was a lit and hype environment. Shout out to Giants fans all around the world, because there was definitely Giants fans in the building, man. Giant fans was definitely representing. I was happy to be able to, talk a little shit with different fans and stuff like that. And it was a good time. But it also, for me, it was just good to see the behind the scenes, someone who was present at the draft, to see this was what was going on behind the scenes was a dope thing, man. Malik Neighbors showed confidence at his pro day. He was ready to give scouts what they came to see, as he said. Look, at wide receiver, that is a position that you love to see confidence. I love it, man. I love it, which is why I'm just big on Malik Neighbors, man. I mean, a blind man could see that this dude is going to be special. He is going to be special. So he showed out. He was making some good grabs, connecting with Jaden Daniels at the pro day. And that was a dope thing to see. It was dope to see that how much more quizzing is done for you to become a professional football player. Anybody who's, ever dreamed of being a professional athlete, to be able to see all that it entails, it's a dope thing, man. It was a dope thing. Marvin Harrison Jr., Leak, and Odunze visit the New York Giants up in New Jersey, and they were quizzed again. After all the quizzing was done and all the things of that nature, I think it was Joe Shane. I can't remember exactly, but they asked one of the scouts. They was like, listen, if you was going to pick any of those guys, who would you pick? And without hesitation, it was Malik Neighbors. So best believe there was a guy that we wanted from the jump, that we show confidence in, and we was able to get him. So that was just dope. Let me just say this again. Drafting a quarterback wasn't due to the lack of play of Daniel Jones. Look, I know it's cute to run with that narrative and all of that, but that was just not the case, man. That was not the case. It was the necessary thing to do. I know Commander fans, I know they were super happy because Jaden Daniels' name was mentioned on Hard Knocks and all of that. Let me just say this, man. I believe Jaden Daniels is a good quarterback. And I'm not gonna sit here in front like he's not just because he's not a New York Giant. I'm not that childish. But I will say that there's a difference between Jaden Daniels being with the New York Giants versus Jaden Daniels being with the Washington Commanders. For sure. We have more weapons. We did more work on the offensive line this year. And as sucky as our offensive line was, y'all's was worse. So it's not Jaden Daniels' fault on why I don't think he's going to be as successful as I believe he should be. It's just that he went to an organization that historically fails their quarterbacks. I'm not sure exactly what they have done on the offensive line to become better. But Jaden Daniels is going to need a better offensive line. The wide receiver core is mediocre. It's mediocre. So not to the fault of Jaden Daniels, I'm not excited. I'm not excited. Again, I just think that Jaden Daniels being with the Giants is a better look for him. That's just me. But whatever, man. On a note aside of that, we were looking for a quarterback because mainly Daniel Jones has suffered with injury problems. Not once have I heard anybody in that front office mention the lack of ability. Not once. So I know that people are still going to carry that narrative. They're going to run with it. I know it because it makes for a better story. It helps them sleep better at night. But that's just not the case. And again, I'm going to say it again. Nobody in the Giants organization has plans to be able to pick this high again next year. So what do? You're going to look at quarterbacks. Because if you don't plan on having a high draft capital next year, then yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. I would look at my front office silly if they don't, look at the top quarterbacks coming out of this year's draft. Because there's talented ones coming out of. So we did our due diligence. Y'all just fell for the bait. They knew what they needed to do to sell this episode. Mention Jaden Daniels, mention trading up, and boom, we got y'all. Ha ha. Tricks on y'all. Got you. Come on, man. And y'all keep poking the look, I'm telling y'all right now. And I'm going to keep saying it because when it happens, I don't want anybody to be surprised. I don't want anybody to act brand new. When Daniel Jones goes off, I want it to be clear. That I said this in the offseason. I said this going into the offseason. Hopefully, knock on wood, pray to God, all that good stuff, that we don't suffer through injury problems. But I think that is going to be the only thing that stops Daniel Jones. Lesnar Giants, salute to you. My fault, y'all. My fault. I'm back. My fault. Lesnar, thank you for tuning in. They still have faith in DJ. That's a fact. That is a fact. They still have faith in DJ, and Tricks on them, man. Tricks is on them. They wanted to run with that narrative so bad. The world was so thirsty to run with that narrative, man. And I'm glad that they've shown that there was proper communication with Daniel Jones prior to going in the draft. How real and how true would his Hard Knocks be if they don't even address this at all? If they don't even go through this, how real would this behind the scenes access be? So I'm glad that they are doing the right thing behind the scenes, proper communication, and they really made me feel a lot better because I'm not even going to front. Going into this episode, I was like, yo, what are we doing? Like, I know we can't be a part of adding more pressure onto Daniel Jones. And that doesn't seem like the case, man. That's not what this episode, that's not what it said to me. That's not what I got from it at all. I actually got the opposite. I think they believe in Daniel Jones, and I think they could do some things with Daniel Jones this season. What else do I got? What else do I got? Let me see in these notes, man. I mean, look, that's the meat and potatoes of it all. But overall, I'm still enjoying these episodes. I know people are in question about if this is healthy for a team or an organization. They think this hard knock style of showing is very toxic and stuff like that. Look, as a fan, I support it. I'm with it. I haven't seen anything too crazy as of now. I think it addressed everything the way it needed to be addressed. I'm loving the behind the scenes. It is definitely feeding me as we are playing the waiting game going into week 1 and things of that nature. I love the fact that we again are the first ones to do this type of style of Hard Knocks. We're trendsetters. We're just following suit. I love it, man. I love it. I love it. I don't see any way how any of this can affect our locker room. I'm looking around at the vibes. Everyone in the locker room right now, from what I'm just feeling, what I'm seeing, everyone seems hungry. Everyone seems on the same page. Everyone seems like there is unity in that locker room. And so I'm loving the vibe that is really happening right now. No complaints from me. And this is coming from somebody who was literally like, when I was watching the episode, I was waiting to come in here and kill, the angle that we was going at. But after seeing it, look, I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at how they addressed anything. Lesnar says they still had love for Saquon. That is a good point. That is a good point. At the Penn State Pro Day, they seen Saquon Barkley there. They shown people with our staff chopping it up with him, having a civil conversation with him. It didn't seem to be too much bad blood. I will say this, man. I'm just so done with the Saquon Barkley talk. I don't have anything else for it, man. I don't have any more energy for it. I think at some point it makes the New York Giants look away when we just keep on hammering this Saquon Barkley thing. Don't get me wrong. I feel like it was very much necessary to mention it in Hard Knocks. I think it was very much necessary. But I think, like, all right, let's move on. Let's let it go. You know what I mean? I think it's just we just drained from it. We just drained from it. I can't remember anybody else just having this awkward of a off season like this, to where one player just affected so much, man. Where there was so much attention on one player's departure. So I'm just at the point. I look, man. Best of luck, I guess, to him. Not really, because when we play him, I'm trying to kill him. I'm gonna be real with you. But yeah, it just was good to see positivity. I'm glad that it wasn't anything childish or anything that made us look bad as an organization. I will also say, to be a realist, you can't have Hard Knock cameras at a Penn State Pro Day and not show Saquon that is clearly right there. So I understand that part of it. I definitely get it. Outside of that, man, that's pretty much all I got. I do say that the Joe Schoen meeting with his family, a few hours before the actual draft, that was kind of kind of weird, I guess. I was hoping to believe that wasn't a serious consideration of his, but he was writing that shit down, which kind of had me a little confused. He was writing it down like he was taking his kids' consideration, his wife consideration, like serious. So I'm not exactly sure exactly what that was about. That was kind of weird, but again, it also showed just how much of a game of chess it is on draft day, man. Like they literally didn't. They literally was open to so many different options, and I'm glad we didn't go with the lighter with getting Bowers. Look, Malik Neighbors. Look, he's that guy, man. He's that guy, and we're all going to be able to contest to that in a few weeks, man. So I'm glad everything panned out the way it did. But yeah, I just think that the nerd in me enjoyed seeing the behind the scenes, seeing the ruckus, how stressed everybody was of not being sure. I mean, I don't know if anybody out there plays fantasy football, but they was looking just like that. They was looking just like how I be looking when I'm drafting my fantasy team, coming up with all types of scenarios, game plans, being a little indecisive, trying to just do different things to make sure that, maybe God is hitting at you to tell you to pick this player and all different types of things. So it was good to just see how normal it was behind the scenes. Listen, at the end of the day, I've said it plenty of times before. These guys bleed red just like I do. Don't try to overthink and think that there's just this extra layer of the process that goes into it, when really it's simple, man. They react and act to the same way that we do, man. So ultimately, man, this is what is beautiful about this style of the Hard Knocks. This is what I enjoyed of seeing, and that's pretty much it, man. That's pretty much it. So again, Hard Knocks episode 4 is in the books. Man, comment, man. Tell me what y'all think, man. Tell me some things that stood out to y'all. Tell me some things that was important that was addressed. I want to know, man. I definitely want to get some feedback. Just finished up. Honestly, we're gonna need a season 2. Yeah, that would be lovely. That would be lovely. I wouldn't want a season 2 of an off-season thing, but I would love to have a season 2 of an in-season situation or a mini training camp thing. Look, let's go for that next. Let's go for that next. It can't be any worse than this, as far as nervousness about being too much inside of the organization and locker room. So look, they got my vote with that for sure. But to all my Giants fans, again, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Look, man, y'all already know, man, I'm pushing out so much dope New York Giant content. I do not want anybody to miss this coming up. The season is approaching. Training camp is here. We going hard, man. So until next time, thank you for rocking with your boy. Peace.
Sometimes it's fun.